So, welcome students. Today we are going to learn about internet protocols. Basically, this is your first lecture. What is happening? We are trying to understand the internet protocols. In this course, you have to study different protocols that are being used in networks. So in your network, you already will study to that there are something like computers, they are connected to cables and you can transfer some data from one place to another. For this, they use some certain protocols. You would have studied some of the protocols in your network course. Now, what is happening in this course particularly, we will study only the protocols which are being used in TCP/IP protocol suite. So different protocols are there in different layers, starting from the application layers throughout the network layer and means transport layer, network layer, data link layer, and physical layer. So we will go through all these protocols and try to understand basics of these protocols work and what format of their packet, what happens to the data which starts from application layer. You will be aware that it starts from application layer, and what happens at each layer, certain packets are added at the sending side, and at the receiver side what happens, these certain part of the header files are removed from the packets, and in the last application layer you get the actual data. So in this course we will learn all the most of the protocols, important protocols that are being used in TCP/IP protocol suite. Before that, what we are going to do today in this lecture, we will try to go through the basics, I should say the history of internet, how this internet started. Let me start with definition of a network. What happens, a network is just a group of connected communicating devices. Communicating devices may be computers, nowadays it can be mobiles and different other devices also. So whenever they are connected and they are able to communicate with each other, they can transmit some data from one device to other, then it is a network. Now there is something called internet, which means when we have more than one networks and we want to transmit data from one network to another network, in that case we will have a connection between these two networks. So when we have this connection between these two networks, or maybe we will have multiple networks, what we are saying is two or more than two networks, and we are trying to establish a communicating system between these networks, then it will be called as internet. Note that the I is lowercase I, internet. Now, one notable internet is internet, capital I internet, noun, internet, which is having hundreds of thousands of interconnected networks, and it is being used extensively throughout the world, right? So today we are going to see the history of this internet, how it started. So basically what happened in 1960, mainframe computers were there. These mainframe computers were standalone, means they were not connected. Several mainframe computers were there, and they were kept at different places, remote. I mean, one in one town and another mainframe computer in another town. Now these people at Advanced Research Project Agency, ARPA, in the Department of Defense, they were interested in finding a way to connect these computers. Now they want to connect these computers. Means these mainframe computers are being used for research purpose, so they want to share their research findings. Now, so now they are thinking what to do. How can we find a way to establish this kind of connection between them? Till 1967, these people, ARPA, came out with a kind of solution. They presented this solution in a ACM meeting, and they called it ARPANET. What they proposed was ARPANET will be a small network of connected computers. Okay, each host computers would be attached to a specialized computer. We will call it as interface message processor. So this will be like a gateway kind of thing. So what will happen, all the hosts in one network will be able to communicate to another host in another network through this IMPs. So now they will need to connect these IMPs also, and these IMPs will be able to communicate with each other. So this was the story of 1967. Just they proposed that this is a feasible thing which can be implemented and kind of things. And by 1969, ARPANET was reality. Now, ARPANET was working with 4 nodes. One at UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles. Another node at University of California at Santa Barbara. Another at Stanford Research Institute, and the fourth at University of Utah. So at these 4 places, the computers were there and they were connected, and they were able to communicate their findings. They were connected using the IMPs. So what was the software being used? It was Network Control Protocol. Okay. So this network control protocol was being used for providing the communication between the hosts. Okay. So after this, what happened in 1972? These people, Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn, collaborated. You know what they wanted to do? They wanted to networks together. So a host on one network could communicate with a host on a second or different networks. ARPANET was able to do this, but there are some challenges that they wanted to do. This was diverse packet size. Packet size can change from one network to another network. Diverse interfaces, diverse transmission rate, and different reliability requirements. Means all those things which can differ from one network to another network. So they came up with an idea of gateway, that this will be a gateway. It will be an intermediary hardware to transfer data from one network to another. So basically, it will be able to manage these kind of requirements, like packet size at one side is small, other side is large, or rate, transmission rate, or interface or reliability requirements, or certain like these requirements are different at one side and different from the other side. So these are the things which can be managed by the gateway. Hello? Now what happened in 1973? They came up with a landmark paper in which they proposed a new version of NCP. It was Transmission Control Protocol. Okay, these protocols were able to achieve end-to-end delivery of data from one host to another host. Okay, what they came up with is encapsulation, the format of datagram, and the function of gateway. So with these concepts, transmission control protocol, I should say the group of transmission control protocol was popularized in 1973. Now here with the transmission control protocol, what happened is the responsibility of error correction, which was earlier with IMP, was now shifted to host machines. What happened in 1977? An internet consisting of 3 different networks was successfully demonstrated. It was ARPANET, maybe packet ratio, also packet satellite. Communication between networks was now very much possible. Now what happened between 1977 and 1980? They split the authorities, ARPANET, and the community. They decided to split the TCP protocols into 2 different protocols, which is Transmission Control Protocol, TCP, and IP. So whatever the routing kind of requirements will be there, it will be handled by IP, Internet Protocol. And higher level functions like segmentation, resampling, error correction, error detection, these things will be taken care by TCP. Now this new version, new combination was known as TCP/IP. So now UC Berkeley modified the Unix operating system to include TCP/IP. Now this networking became popular. The open implementation of this Berkeley Unix gave every manufacturer a working code base on which they could build their products. So basically now what happened is TCP/IP became popular with its implementation in the Berkeley Unix. Also, during this time, 1981, CSNet was also created. It was sponsored by National Science Foundation. Different universities, conceived by universities that were ineligible to join ARPANET due to an absence of defense ties to DARPA, Department of ARPA. So these universities which didn't have any tie with Department of ARPA, they were not able to connect with the ARPANET. So they get some sponsorship from National Science Foundation and design this CSNet network of these computers at these different universities. So now what happened between 1983? Now authorities are abolishing the ARPANET protocols and adopting TCP/IP in their system. So those who wanted to use the internet to access the computer on a different network had to be running TCP/IP. Also in 1983 something happened, like ARPANET split it into 2 networks. One was MILNET, especially for military users, and ARPANET for non-military users. Now in mid-1980s, something was happening. Was ARPANET was accessible to those having ties with Department of ARPA. So there were several other universities and other organizations which were interested in networking. Because of that, CSNet was getting popular. CSNet was a less expensive network. There were no redundant links, and transmission rate was still a little slower. Featured connection to ARPANET and featured connection to Telnet. Telnet was the first commercial packet data service. So these are something which was happening in 1980s. Also, some most US universities with the computer science department were part of this CSNet. So other institutions and companies were also forming their own networks and using TCP/IP to interconnect. This internet, originally government-funded connected network, now it is referred as the connected networks using TCP/IP protocols. What happened in 1986? NSF sponsored NSF-NET. This earlier, which was being noted as CSNet, now it became NSF-NET. What happened with this is it had a backbone. Backbone means a cable which is having a high data rate. So a backbone that connected 5 supercomputer centers located throughout the United States. Community networks were allowed access to these backbone. Also a T1 line with a 1.5 Mbps data rate, providing connectivity through the United States. Now in 1990, ARPANET was officially retired and replaced by NSFNet. So ARPANET, the internet history started with ARPANET. Here in 1990, ARPANET stopped. I should say they ARPANET retired, and all accepted this NSFNet. Now in 1991, US government decided that NSFNet was not capable of supporting the rapidly increasing internet traffic. So what happened then? 3 companies, IBM, Merit, and MCI, formed a non-profit organization called Advanced Network and Services (ANS) to build a high-speed internet backbone called ANSNet. By 1995, what happened? NSFNet was reverted back to its original concept of a research network, and then this is today's internet, where there are backbone ISPs connected to each other. NAP, network address protocol name, it was network access point. It helped these connections, ISPs, to connect to other ISPs earlier. Okay, no problem. So after that, these ISPs, regional ISPs were there, local ISPs, and then other host computers. In this way, this internet is working. What happened? Internet is just the connection. Now there comes World Wide Web. This World Wide Web was invented by Tim Berners-Lee, which just a kind of, you can say it is just a compiler which can handle these kind of systems. You know? So this is something World Wide Web, which was after whose invention several commercial applications emerged. So what happened? This is just a summary of this thing. That it started with 1969 with 4-node ARPANET, and today it became a huge network. We are calling it internet. Other internet may also be possible. Maybe they would be being used in in this world. But for this, we are going through this TCP/IP based networks, and this is the network which is being used. So, from 69, 4-node network started in 70. ARPA hosts implement NCP. After 73, TCP/IP suite begins being developed. 77, TCP/IP was adopted. 78, and so on, as we have seen. And after that, in 95, you can see companies known as internet service providers. They started working, and this World Wide Web came in 93, and it also popularized the uh, internet. So till now we have not seen the protocols. We have just seen that this is the history of internet, and we have understood that TCP/IP protocol suite is something which is being used in internet. And now, from the next lectures, what we will do is we will try to understand different protocols which are being used in transmission of data on internet. Okay, so thank you.